The Batman is now out, and we hope you have gotten a chance to see it. Turk and I both think it is really good. The more I think about it, the more I really appreciate it and can't wait to see it again. Again, hope you guys have a good time seeing it. This is going to be a spoil-filled discussion on the film, so hold on to your butts. Okay, so we gave you guys your opportunity to go see the film. We're going to dive into the spoiler mumbo jumbo. In the beginning of the movie, it's on Halloween, and hence this movie was supposed to be released in October, so it's only fitting that it actually starts in Halloween. You see the Gotham City mayor is murdered by a serial killer. What is so fucking great about this opening scene is that you get someone is watching someone in this big mansion, and the darkness and just how the detail Matt Reeves had this, where we see the character creep in there, and you see the mayor standing staring at the TV, and in the background you see this silhouette, and you only see like the reflection of the light in his glasses, and it's so eerie, and just the detail of it.
Yeah, it gave me chills. Yeah, I really love that opening scene.
Yeah, like I think if I wasn't watching with a group of people, I would have been scared there watching this by myself at home. Oh, in the dark. Ooh.
The first scene is always very important. It really sets the tone of the film, and this did a great job of doing that. Yeah, I kind of like, okay, this is we're gonna watch a different version of Batman, especially with the Riddler. That's right.
Like it's a cold kill.
Yeah, it is. It's bludgeoned, like he uses that special tool to hit him over the head with it. It's just something that you don't normally see in a Batman film. Someone using a real, like a handyman's tool, and then just like hitting someone over the head with it. That's a very different feel for a Batman, for me anyways.
And definitely like using the duct tape, because this is what we've seen so much in the trailers. This masked person taping up this victim, writing,
like a message of some sort.
The truth, like lies. You tell lies. It was so echoed Seven.
Yeah. Also, you could tell that right off the bat, you could see that he was motivated taking down political figures, because this person happened to be watching a debate on the mayoral stage.
Yeah,
is that right?
The person he's running against.
Yes, that's right. So you could tell it had a political focus in the film.
Well, and also you saw in the background that was framed like news headlines. Yeah, you're like, there's a political element here. Yeah. This is going to lead to something. But just, I couldn't believe right off the bat, just that one scene, that introductory scene, I was hooked in this movie. I was like, holy shit, I am in it.
Yeah.
You and I kind of said that.
Yeah.
We're like, oh man, I'm in it already.
Yeah. Yeah, it was getting good.
We get a voiceover of Batman talking about his 2 years, about being the Batman. He's talking about the city. It was just interesting hearing him talk, and it really worked really well. And Robert Pattinson's voice and what he was talking about, it kind of really stood out, that he's, talking about vengeance. And I like how they set up his introduction, that it's raining, we're getting scenes. He's talking about, I'm out there, and you see the bat signal. You're seeing people that they're looking in the shadows, the people that are committing crime. Like he's saying that people think I'm there when I'm not. And then he does appear in one area where this gang was initiating this one person. And I thought it was very interesting that I thought they were, in the trailer, they were goons of the Penguin, but no, there's some
just a random gang, I think, that painted their faces.
And they had their new initiate had half their face inked.
Yeah. Which
was, and you could see the apprehension in this individual that, doesn't really want to do it, and they're going to go harm this person on the subway. I like how, like, this Batman just, you hear his footsteps, his movement. That was the one thing about in this film, so mesmerizing, like you said about Robert Pattinson, just how Batman moved, he walked, how he turned. It had a presence. There was something about it.
Yeah, there was something different about it as opposed to other Batmans as well. Yeah.
He comes on the scene and kicks the shit out of these clowns. And you see right off the bat, this is a Batman, he's still not there, but he still kicks ass.
He does. Yeah. He does. One of the lines that I do remember vividly when he's discussing about the state of Gotham at this point is he says, 2 years of nights have turned me into a nocturnal animal. So you could really get the sense of that he's an insomniac. He's not sleeping during the day because he's having to be Bruce Wayne during the day and be Batman at night. And so you can really already see the toll that it's taking on him.
But also you see that this is a Batman, a person who has not separated the Batman from the Bruce Wayne. Like he's a recluse. People know who Bruce Wayne is, but they don't really see him. That he's so focused on his vengeance that it has consumed him. Like there's nothing else. Like he doesn't even care about his safety, his well-being. He's out there that he wants to right the wrongs that happened to him.
Yeah,
and you see it right off the bat. Because this is something we never really saw in the other Batman films. There was uneasiness, and obviously he's a vigilante. He's operating outside the law. I think in real life, a person like this, the police department and the law would have to apprehend him. So right off the bat, what was so interesting is you see this uneasy alliance with this Batman and the Gotham City police. And it's only brought together by Commissioner Gordon because there's a case that requires his presence. And it was just interesting seeing him walk through the crowd to the crime scene. It was really well depicted. The music, the atmosphere, and you see like all these cops looking there, like, what the hell are you doing? Like they are very adversarial against this Batman.
Yeah.
Like that one guy, Martinez was his name. He's like, what the hell are you doing here, Batman? Like he doesn't like it, and he's in a crime scene, and how like they're saying, like you're tampering with potential evidence with the forensics.
Yes. I really got the sense that he was not liked amongst the Gotham Police Department. As soon as he walked in, like you said, it was kind of a gauntlet of stares. Like all the police were staring at him in disgust and anger. How you shouldn't have this guy around. He shouldn't be here. He's a vigilante. But once again, another reason why I love the Commissioner Gordon character was he was willing to stand up for Batman at every turn he got.
Yeah, and right off the bat that he's probably the one person who's not on the tape. Like you can tell this is an incomparable person. You can see he's kind of like odd man out because you see his superior that sees this Batman there and the scene, he loses his shit.
Yeah,
he wants him out of there. Like he's. And you can understand, like, yeah, the cops would not like this Batman because he's basically saying, fuck you, you are not doing a good enough job, so I'm doing it for you.
That's right. Well, speaking of Batman, I had a few things that I had written down after I came home after the movie, and I just wanted to regurgitate them because these are, my thoughts and feelings on the character.
Do tell.
I will. I thought his character was perfect for the time in which being Batman for about 2 years had already beat him up pretty good. I could just imagine what he's been through for the past 2 years. I also like that he messed up a lot while using his gadgets as one would do when you're new at the job. I like that he did show a little hope from time to time, not being completely hopeless and depressed. You could tell he was married to Gotham for life. He was willing to die for it while trying to shake his fear of death. He was willing to help out at the ground level while the city was in peril. And his Batmobile was a classic bare bones hot rod that got the job done. His use of gadgetry was minimal, I thought, compared to other Batmans. Also, I love that he was in the Batsuit most of the film, which surprised me, but when you think about the title of the movie, it kind of makes sense, the Batman. The Batsuit looked really good, and I thought his size was perfect for a young Batman.
Yeah, and this was also like a Batman that actually had a strained relationship with Alfred and himself. In most depictions, especially on film, yes, he is the boss. Alfred is there to kind of serve him, but here you can see it's really strained, and you can see kind of the heartbreak with Alfred seeing Bruce Wayne kind of descend into this darkness, this hopelessness, he feels like he's losing him and he doesn't know what to do. You can tell this Alfred really carries where there's lots of regret.
Yeah, I got that feeling that he was like a surrogate father to Bruce, and I really enjoyed that, and you could see they really cared for each other.
So you really see that. And unfortunately, this is the one thing about the film. Yes, Andy Serkis' Alfred played a real important role in the film. He was, though I felt, was kind of underutilized in this film. I wanted to see more of him. Because this Alfred kind of intrigued me. You can tell this is an Alfred that has seen, a lot in life, not just with the Waynes, but his own life, like almost like he was in military. Because I do believe in some of the renditions of Alfred's backstory, they've kind of fleshed it out where he was military grade and all that. And
okay.
This Alfred kind of seems like he would be.
I did enjoy his character, and yeah, it would have been nice to see more of him, but there's lots of characters to flesh out, so I understand that some characters don't get as much screen time.
And this film did something kind of a little bit different because we've gotten so many renditions. I know I'm reusing that word, but Thomas and Martha Wayne, and usually they're depicted as these, really kind of loving, good people. And this film, they're still great people, but they have some flaws. When I first saw it and when I was thinking about it like yesterday after we watched it, I didn't like the Martha in a mental health institution and the cover-up in the campaign, but more and more when I think about it, it added an interesting dynamic to the Waynes that just like, the rest of us, because you know how you kind of, it becomes more of like a fairy tale where you fantasize like people that are, they were just perfect, good people. But the reality is they're just like the rest of us. They're good at their core, but they're flawed. And it was kind of nice to see that side of them as a family.
Yeah, everybody has their skeletons, and it doesn't matter where you stack on the chain of high value people or lower value people or whatever. It doesn't matter. Everyone's got dark secrets, and you just you got to learn from them. And I thought this was actually a really cool way of showing the Waynes as not being the perfect, couple. And
also, this actually led to Batman, his growth in the film, where like he kind of saw his parents one way, but then he kind of discovers new information and he sees them in another light. And it was good for his character growth because to say, yes, my parents made some mistakes before they were killed and stuff, but they're still good people.
That's right.
Because that's like, he goes in when Carmine Falcone tells him that, because we and I like that they took this out of the Long Halloween where actually Thomas Wayne did attend to Carmine Falcone when he was shot. But like it wasn't like he was in leagues with him. But in this film, they were, and he came to him in a desperation, and he used it as leverage on Thomas Wayne, which I thought was really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that dynamic. Falcone was a really good character. I really enjoyed him.
Yeah, and you really see, and this is another thing is in the film, not only do we get the detective, but Batman's kind of like basically like a peeping Tom.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you show his attention to detail, at the funeral scene in the film. You just see, and you see Robert Pattinson in this film. He doesn't talk a lot. He kind of goes the Clint Eastwood, Man with No Name, less is more, and like just him looking at people, just like he's at the funeral and he's walking and you just see him watching people because like he's going to this, like before that, Alfred and him are having a conversation that you have to kind of make appearances at Bruce Wayne. You still have to have a life as Bruce. And he's like, I don't give a shit. And the only reason he went there is because potentially, like he said, serial killers usually go to the scenes of the crime where they're victims, and he potentially thinks he can maybe flesh them out or see who this person is. And you see him, he's just looking at people, and you see him zeroing in on the mayor's kid.
Yeah.
And actually that played earlier in the film where he's at the crime scene there with the cops and all that, and you see him just like he's looking at everything, but then he notices his kid because this kid was going through the same thing that happened to him.
That's right.
There was a connection with Bruce and that kid.
There's a parallel there, yeah.
There's a parallel, and that was brilliantly done by Matt Reeves.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I enjoyed that as well. I'll say one concern I had with the film was I didn't think Batman faced any real consequences. Like, I know he messed up a bit, which was great to see that he's still learning as Batman, but I found that his stakes, like personally, not anybody else, but just Batman straight up, I didn't feel that he faced any real consequences where like he was where he was like really close to death or anything like that. I always felt like he was just gonna come out of it no problem.
Right. And also this is where you can have some criticism where this film just is not like a masterpiece, in my opinion, is that things are a little bit too convenient in this film. Like, just like, okay, he learns information from the Riddler, and then he goes to go speak with Carmine Falcone, and he tells him about the stuff with his parents, and then he goes, well, Alfred is recovering, he kind of confronts him, so he believes this guy who is a gangster who's known to killing people, lying and extorting people, and he kind of believes him. And then he goes, and then all of a sudden Alfred tells him, well, actually it's this, and then it's okay.
Yeah, but let's not forget Falcone had a pretty good relationship with his father, and I think he probably made the connection, like, if you're friends with my dad, I kind of trust you.
No, that wasn't their relationship. I didn't think the film depicted they had the only relationship they had was that he attended to him because he's a doctor and helped him recuperate from his gunshot, but he went to him in a desperation. I never thought, the film never depicted to me, I didn't think that.
That's where I felt that there was a little bit of trust between them two at the time. You know, when he was helping him recuperate from the gunshot, you know, you help a man, you saved his life, and then you ask for a favor in return, say, hey, can you take care of this guy that's ruining my... I feel like there was some trust there.
No, I didn't find that, but that's okay.
That's what I felt.
Yeah, because the only reason he went there is because the Riddler led him to there. They gave him the information to go and seek out Falcone.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of... That's the only reason. Would he have done it on his own? 3 times how Batman entered the club. He first there as Batman, and then those 2 twins are like, well, so who are you? You're not getting in. And then he beats the shit out of them. Then the second time as Bruce Wayne gets in. And then the third time he just sneaks in.
Yeah.
And another thing that this movie touched upon finally is that black mascara or that grease he puts around his eyes.
Eye black, yeah.
The eye black.
It's like the stuff they use in football games.
Yeah, he puts the eye black.
Yeah.
You see that like in Batman Returns when Batman at the end tears off his mask. You can see the cut. He doesn't have that eye black. Before he did, now he doesn't, and like they never touched upon it in any of the films. And I like there's times that he's not even in when he goes in at the end of the film into the club with as Batman. When he first goes in as Bruce, he has the eye black already on.
That's right.
I love that detail, the consistency. It worked for me. Like,
yep, me too.
This because they never did it in any other films, and you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, see, sometimes making a great film or a really good film, you really gotta hone in those details to make it linear, and that you're not like, wait a minute, what about that? Or what about this? It's like, no, like they did a good job. They thought about a lot of things. And
I kind of thought the team up of Batman and Selina was a little bit too quick. So the scene where she kind of like, when he's like, and I thought them working in him because it's like, it's Batman. He's meticulous. It has to be his way. And he has her going into the club and he's talking. She's deviating because she has her own agenda. Catwoman's usually always kind of dubious. You never know where her allegiance is. And I think maybe that's part of why Zoe Kravitz just doesn't stand out, is that I didn't think she really captured that because, she's kind of like, the Cheshire cat. That's Catwoman to me, where she plays every angle.
Well, she's an alley cat. She sits on the fence and plays both sides.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just, you knew she was going to be with him and help him and all that. And I wanted her to be a little more on the fence.
Mm-hmm.
I thought for this type of rendition. So that was, I could have been a little bit more.
I also got the sense that it rained a lot. In this film, almost too much. I wish it hadn't rained so much. After seeing the ending with the flooding,
with the flood, yeah,
you're like, damn, you mean the rain didn't flood the city first before the seawalls? I don't know. I kind of got sick of the rain, but it was great to see the rain when the car chase was going on. That added an element of danger. I really did like that. The visibility was low. I thought that was great. There are times when rain is important and to use it and to really heighten the scene, but I felt like it just rained so much in this film and I was getting kind of tired of it.
I didn't have a problem with the rain. The flood part, I have an issue, but it's not because of the rain or too much water.
Yeah.
I'm just these natural disasters things. I'm so over them in films. So
yeah, but I get it. I get they used it to flood the city so we could create chaos amongst the city and there would be unrest amongst. You know what I mean? I understand why they use that tool.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That was kind of the point of the Riddler is that right. I didn't really care for the personal connection with him and Bruce. There always has to be some type of connection. Also, I didn't really like that he had to know that it was Bruce. In Batman are the same. He is a very intelligent person. So if anyone, I guess, but I don't know. Sometimes it's nice to know, just we don't need to someone knows.
That's right.
You could assume it is, because it's been played out before, so it's just okay, I guess he knows it's him. Because really, this Riddler is not Edward Nygma; it's Edward Nashton or something. So it's a different Edward altogether, kind of.
Right. Okay. Well, my biggest gripe with the film,
and just before we go there, I know we're now talking about some things that we didn't like about the film, but these are very nitpicky.
Yeah, we're nitpicking.
This, because I really think this is a movie I love, but it's kind of has some flaws.
Yes.
If that
we're just pointing out the flaws. Yeah. I mean, every film's got flaws.
I just wanted to say that because you and I were really dick riding this film, and now we're criticizing a little.
Well, that's what we're here for. We're not going to just tell you the good stuff about a film. Yeah. We're going to tell you the bad stuff too. So, or what we had issues with, anyways.
Yeah.
In our opinions. So you might know about this moment. I think I nudged you in the theater, but the moment Catwoman says about the white privilege statement in the movie, it took me right out of the film.
Well, it was really unneeded.
It was unnecessary. She had told Bruce, or I guess Batman, that, why don't you and I, or she was complaining about the white privilege in the town or something like that in the city. And as soon as she said that, it took me right out. I was out of the film because I was so invested in the film at this point. I was in there. I like I said, I had forgotten that I was even sitting in a movie theater at this point. I was enjoying the film so well. The moment she said that, I stepped right out again and I sat there and I was like, okay, what the fuck? It was an unnecessary line, but I understand why they did it because of it's 2022 and that's what they're doing now. But it took me a good 2 to 3 minutes to get back into the film. I'm kind of pissed at this because you had my attention for so long and then you throw out this nonchalant bullshit line that made no sense in the movie.
No, it didn't.
No, it didn't. Yeah, if it made sense, if they were calling to it earlier in the film, okay, I get it. But this is Batman and Gotham, and not once did they even mention anything about race or gender. It had nothing to do with the film. So then she throws out this white privilege, and I'm like, what the fuck? That made no sense. It just does not belong in a Batman franchise. I'm sorry. And that's just my opinion.
Well, just the problem with all these films, whether it's in there or not, there's a lot of this kind of identity politics that has kind of taken up for since 2012 about identity politics and most people realize historically, yes, this stuff is tied in our society and stuff, and there's changes still need to be made. But like when you want to talk about elitism, like, and it's hard to see because this film is a very diverse film. And Catwoman is a character, even the character itself, she is actually more privileged than others because who her father is. Now, yes, it has tragedy because what kind of happens to her mom, where he kills her mom, kills her friend. You know, like you can imagine what that does to her psychologically, but just to kind of go into, well, this is the problem here is like white privilege. It didn't make sense to the film because there's more things going on, that this is a city that's about to implode on itself. The police force is corrupt. Politicians are corrupt. The whole infrastructure is corrupt. And for her to kind of make it more about a race thing and it doesn't even actually draw any other kind of information upon it. Like the film is like American History X, where you have this, I'm not going to go on big a tangent here, but like the film itself already started and was dealing with like some types of issues like that elitism and all that. That's fine.
Yes.
But this is a Batman film and stuff, and the film itself never really touched upon that. It was like just this offhand comment that the character made, and it made really no sense. And you're right. You're like, well, okay, well, what's the point of that?
Right. And at that moment, I was taken out of the film. And then I don't want that to happen. That's not what a film should be doing to me. It should be keeping me engaged. And then when you throw an offhanded remark like that, it pisses me off. It's like Superman saying to Lois, "Oh, gee, I like tomato soup, Lois." Yeah. Like, when would you ever hear Superman say that? It made no sense.
And another thing is, I know the actress herself, Zoe Kravitz, has lately been, just like the lead Hollywood, is talking about all this, critical race theory and all that stuff. The problem is that when you look at Zoe Kravitz, her mom is Lisa Bonet and her father's Lenny Kravitz. You cannot tell me there's no such thing she has not had privilege in her life. So when she speaks upon it, now this has nothing to do with the character, but the point is that that's where the lines get blurred, that the film character and the actress are amalgamating, and we've seen this time and time again, and most people I don't want to be lectured in a Batman film.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, save the lecturing for some other social justice film. I don't care. But for Batman, it just makes no sense. It doesn't belong.
And you and I have had these discussions that even this podcast, we want to remain fun and that we're not going to get political. We don't really want to talk about that kind of stuff. We just want to enjoy film, and that's it. Like,
that's right.
We're not going to talk about what's going on in the news or this and that. So yeah, it's important to us that we just want to watch a film and enjoy them, and we don't give a shit what gender, race you are. If you make sense in the film and you're a good actor or actress, that's all that matters to you and I. We've had these discussions.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're going on a little bit of a rant, but you're right. Like, you and I were kind of nudging. I think Dark Matter, the same thing. The only person probably is your kid.
That's right, because he's getting used to it.
Yeah, because he kind of, I like his ratings, and he's at 99.8 out of 10.
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot to base it off of because he's still young and unexperienced, but whatever. I want to say another thing about her character is there was a time actually in the movie for her where I thought that actually she was going to be potentially like bisexual, because she was consoling her Russian friend there in the beginning, and I thought that was actually a really good moment to see, like when Bruce Wayne was watching her through the window, peeping Tom, and seeing Catwoman and her Russian friend there. She looked like she was quite distraught, and she had knelt down and was rubbing her face and her hair, and I thought, okay, well, it's like a really tender moment. And I thought, okay, like maybe they have a relationship, maybe they're together. That would have been totally fine if she would have kissed her at that point. Like, I would have totally understood where, the character that she was, and I would have been totally cool with that.
I would have been very happy to see that.
Yeah, who wouldn't, right? Yeah. But I'm just saying is seeing her for the first time in that film, I thought, okay, this is, maybe she's, not that it matters, but I thought it was great to see her.
Well, you'd think the character of Catwoman, I've always seen her, she's very feminine, but she's also androgynous.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense that, because I think they did state that the character in the film is bisexual. So
the thing is, though, I don't want to be told. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, by the way, we had to tell you that this character is straight, this character is gay, and this character is bisexual, just in case you didn't understand while watching the movie.
You ever see the deleted scene in Knocked Up where the Jonah Hill at late at night's watching Brokeback Mountain, and she's asking him, and he's like, well, this is bullshit, you know, I want to see, you know, throw something in there, Heath, you know, like he says, I'm tired of, you know, being, you know, I want to see it. And you're right. Like, just show it. And this would have been perfect.
Just do it. Don't tell us you're going to do it. Just do it.
Yeah. Cause like after the fact, what's the point?
That's right.
Catwoman would be awesome. Like, why not have her, you know, this is a relationship. This is not only a friendship, but this is a more deep rooted friendship, because in the film, it would make more sense too, because how she was trying to help this person. And she was very upset when she found out this person went missing. And then when she found out this person was murdered. And then more importantly, this person was murdered by her own father, who in turn murdered her mom and in turn tried to murder her.
I know. So I thought that scene was a cute scene, and I thought, you know, okay, these two girls must be in a relationship. I was like, totally cool with that. That's awesome. Yeah. So I really thought that was an interesting thing that they didn't even like kiss, because she kissed Batman, and I'm like, you know what? I didn't even think that kiss was very good. Like, I was like, I didn't like them together, actually,
because he's so consumed about his vengeance or his ongoing fight against crime and all that he doesn't really have time for a relationship. So for him, I think this is going to be something that we'll have to build. I didn't really want a romance, if that makes sense, between these characters, because I like the slow burn with these characters. Yeah. Some films it works, like Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor. It worked fine.
It did.
The relationship to escalate, or like we were just talking about Superman, the 78. They don't really hook up.
No, they don't even kiss.
Part 2 is when he consumes it with the, you know, his Man of Steel.
Oh yeah, big cod piece.
Yeah. But yeah, those were some things. And then another thing is I thought it didn't go hammy, but where the Riddler, where I think I was on the fence when I first watched it, when the Riddler goes kind of all cuckoo cuckoo in his viral, he has all these followers. To me, that was a little too much of where you had all these people pick up your guns and they're going to come and assassinate the mayor.
Man, you know,
that's what I kind of took out of it.
I didn't even pick up on that at all. I just did. Maybe I wasn't thinking about it.
And then when they had their version of the interrogation scene, when he goes to Arkham, it was kind of cool. The uneasy, I'm going to kind of backtrack, because with Batman and his relationship with the cops, but you know, when Batman, he gets knocked out a few times, and that one time he wakes up in the holding cell, you can't tell me they would not take that mask off.
Yeah, I agree. They would take it off.
Like, it was a cool scene, and to see him surrounded by all these cops that kind of want, and it's Lieutenant Gordon, because he's a lieutenant in this film,
right?
Between them, and then they do his escape. It was a cool scene, but it's also like when you start thinking about it, it's like, all right, would they really not? They would take the mask off and have him in cuffs.
Yeah, I guess it's one of those things you gotta let go, I guess.
Like, I thought it was a cool scene when he went back to Edward Nygma's place, because I thought it was kind of cool at the club. The Iceberg, whatever the club is, he's there the whole time watching them. So he's seeing Batman go in there, and then he shoots, you know, Falcone dead with the Penguin, and they go in his place, and this is where you get 7 with John Doe, because they're looking at his journals, everything. Yeah. Like a very essence of that.
Some of the things that the Riddler did, I like that they brought the film into 2022, where they started using social media in the film, because it's becoming a theme now, obviously, in new films, right? They're using that a lot. You know, our last rendition of the Batman didn't quite have that, right?
No.
So they're updating the Batman franchise, right? So by Riddler having a small following on social media, one would expect maybe in this time that it would happen.
Yeah.
I liked it.
They all had like the same suit as him, and
but did you read the comments Were you reading the comments?
Well, I might have missed that.
Okay, so the next time you watch it, I would urge you to read the comments on his page where he was on social media, because his followers were commenting. He was basically telling his followers, like, join me and we're gonna go take down, we're gonna reset the city our way.
Yeah,
and so then people, like his followers, were like, okay, what kind of gun should I get? You know what I mean? Like things like that. Don't forget the plastic wrap and things like that. So,
but these all unhinged people, because
they're his following.
But he's a serial killer. Like, this is a guy that's really murdering people, and he's doing it viral. He's doing it in public places. And then he has all these people come into taking up arms. I found that a little bit contrived.
I was actually okay with it because...
Oh, it's a little convenient. He has all these people and they all show up right on the dot, but up in the scaffolding.
Because he was telling them, like, where to meet. Yeah. And, like, it was a big event.
Yeah.
He set it up. His following was commenting on, like, what kind of gear should they wear? What kind of mask should they wear?
No, like, I get that, but that part I just didn't like. I personally was just a taste. I thought it kind of took away of, because the brilliance of Seven with John Doe, it's just him.
Mm-hmm.
Just him pulling the strings, and he wins. Like, that's the thing with that movie.
Yeah.
He wins. Where this Riddler, it goes into, it's him doing all this stuff, pulling the strings, then all of a sudden now he has all these henchmen through his... I don't know, I found it so convenient.
I really enjoyed it, actually.
Yeah.
I liked it. Yeah, I thought it showed his intuition and how smart he was always, like, steps ahead of Batman. I like that.
But that's the thing, is that he's very calculating, but then he's unhinged when Batman is at the holding cell talking to him. He's unhinged. Yeah, that's the thing, is where I had some
issues. Is he unhinged, though? Like,
no, but he
like,
was kind of acting, because he's like thinking Batman's not going to follow his thing, and then Batman's like, I'm not doing that. And then he kind of loses his shit, and it's like, that's where I thought they overwrote themselves here, like Matt Reeves. And I just thought, play him just the calculating, like, I'm always one step ahead, but you could tell there's this unhinged psychopathic. I know he's a psychopath, because he's a serial killer, but if you're gonna do it like he's the smartest guy in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, it's Batman.
It's true.
What I liked about the flooding thing, showing Batman fighting, and it gave Catwoman a chance to... And he knew that was going to happen when he was hanging there. Again, that was a little bit too convenient. It still was a cool scene, but when he saw the flood, he goes up on the wire there, and he takes his emblem, and I like the utility of that.
Yep.
Like, his suit... Because we haven't got into the Batmobile. Like, I know you kind of covered it.
Yeah.
But the scene with him when he's chasing the Penguin, that was like, I've seen clips of it in the trailer, but to actually see it played out in the film, it was awesome. And it's something, I think the Ben Affleck Batmobile is the most close to the comic, but I think I love this Batmobile and like what happened, the simplicity of it.
Yeah, me too.
And how he did, how he drove. And with the rain and the fire, like, I know you had a kind of issue with all the rain and the water there.
But this is where I love the rain.
It worked perfectly. This is where I loved
it. Yeah.
It was just, and see, he's like a force of nature. Like, he's getting shot, getting knocked down, but he keeps going. But the fight sequences, fighting multiple people. Because like a lot of these films you see, like, you remember in wrestling, you would have like 10 people in the ring, and you'd have like Roddy Piper like holding them all off, or like Hulk Hogan. It was like that with a lot of movies, like Jean-Claude Van Damme or Arnold, where this one, Batman is kicking ass, but he's also taking licks too at the same time, and I love seeing that. This is a Batman, he's still kicking ass, but he's I'm hitting shit. It's hard when you get excited.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I liked him fighting in the darkness, because it kind of did, they were able to maybe get away with some things, if they weren't accurate. But, it worked.
And another thing that really kind of makes the movie come full circle is when our first introduction to Batman on screen is when he beats up those guys and he says, I'm vengeance. And you see throughout the whole movie, he is operating in vengeance. He's avenging his parents. He's avenging something. He tells Alfred, and this is where Alfred is like, this vengeance is going to kill you. I don't care. All the way till the end with the flood, he goes and he realizes, no, vengeance, I've been doing this. He's like, I've been operating wrong. It's not vengeance that I need. It's hope. that scene, yes, it's a little bit, you can say it's a little bit contrived, but when he goes and he's saving these people in the scene with the kid where he's helping people out, that little kid grabs onto him and it's right there. That's a beacon of hope. Just, that's perfect. That echoed The Dark Knight. You know, he is the hero we need, but we don't deserve.
That's right.
And that's Batman.
I really enjoyed that whole message that he just changed his whole message from the beginning to the end of the film. I thought that was great.
And he had to go through the whole film. And I'm hoping Matt Reeves is someone that, I hope this turns into at least a trilogy. Yeah. And we can see what Matt Reeves does with this take on Batman. Because I think we're open to some stuff that's going to be really fun and fantastic and dark and scary. I thought throwing in the Joker into it was really unnecessary.
Yeah, potentially unnecessary, but I thought it was nice to see. I mean, I got a little giddy when I heard his voice. I mean, I don't know, just the Joker is special to me. Like, I think the Joker is just one of those characters that you kind of get excited when you hear him.
No doubt. I mean, it's the Joker. Like, I mean, it's yin to his yang. It's, you know, he's the opposite of Batman. When you think of Batman, most of the time, if you think of a villain, you think of Joker. And one thing we're really seeing, especially with this Batman, is that they're setting up all the rogues gallery. We got the Penguin, we got Catwoman, we got Joker, like
sowing the seeds.
This, and it's great to kind of see that. Maybe it's because the Joker showing up at the end of Batman Begins was so well done, and then it led into obviously the Heath Ledger Joker. And then we just had the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. We've had a lot of Jokers, so I kind of personally, I just didn't need it. It's okay.
That's true.
Robert Pattinson, the potential for him in multiple films is great.
On a fun note, one of the Easter eggs that I kind of liked was when Batman and Lieutenant Gordon had the Penguin tied up with his arms and his legs. They were questioning him down on the street, and they just decided to leave him because they were done with him. And they started to walk away, and he had his hands and legs together, and he was trying to walk. And when he was walking like a penguin. Like, it is right away that kind of made me giggle, because I thought it was kind of cute that you didn't really know him. Like, you knew him as a penguin, but he never really exuded the penguin persona like Danny DeVito did, kind of. But this was kind of a neat little callback. I enjoyed it. It was kind of cool.
He was humorous, and the whole scene was pretty humorous because they totally forget about him, and they kind of let him go.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, wow, I thought you were going to, apprehend, put him in Arkham or Blackgate or something, but they kind of, because they had bigger fish to fry at that point. And that kind of shows you at this point, Penguin is really, he's non-consequential. Like, he's not a big time player
yet.
And that is great.
Yes.
That's something different that this film is doing. It's building these characters up.
Right. Now that Falcone is gone, we can see a rise in the Penguin.
But there's also Sal Maroni, who they allude to in the film, that I think in the next film we will get someone to play him, because that character is been depicted in the comics that actually is the one that throws the acid in Harvey Dent.
Two-Face.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see if in the next film now that Carmine Falcone is dead, the Easter egg is him being shot and Thomas Wayne attending to him. The reporter that was talking out against Martha Wayne and Thomas Wayne during the campaign, that reporter is like the father of this Tommy Elliot, because the last name is Elliot, who is a villain called Hush. So that's kind of a little Easter egg.
Okay.
I noticed.
Well, you know more than I do.
Well,
when it comes to Batman. Yeah, other than that, I don't really have much else. Despite all the shit talking we were doing, we were nitpicking, I still really, really enjoyed this film from beginning to end. It's a great film. And there's so much good stuff in here. And so don't hang up on all the shit talking we were doing on the film, but these are just nitpicks. And but other than that, it's a great film.
Yeah, this is another great turnout to beginning of a Batman story. You got to see it at the theater. This is a repeated viewing type of movie, because there's some movies they just get better with time, and then some movies are like, eh. So I'll be kind of curious. So this is a movie I definitely like. You and I've only viewed it once, so I'm curious to how I'd feel now that I've seen it, experienced it. Now going into it, what else I would notice? Will I enjoy it the same? Or that's kind of like the beauty of watching films, especially the ones you like.
That's right. Awesome. Well, that was a great movie. I enjoyed talking about it. Thanks for listening. Thank you for listening to the Turk and Raz podcast. You can catch us wherever you get your podcasts, such as Google, Spotify, Podbean, Audible, Amazon Music, YouTube, and Odyssey. Thanks for listening.